One of the best budget junkyard swaps that you could do for your foxbody Mustang or any Ford Resto that you plan on building is the GT40 engine. We're going to be tearing these motors apart. We're going to be doing the GT40 conversion for the foxbody Mustang, and we're also going to talk about a couple other engines that in 2024 you're going to be able to find in the junkyard. So let me get some wrenches out and let's get started.
Listen up, just a good old boy, never meaning no harm. Beats all you ever saw, been in trouble with the law since the day they was born.
Now what you have here is your common 5.0. Now these were also found in Thunderbirds as well. It's an HO motor, so it carries the same firing order as the 351. Same thing with the Explorer 5.0 motor. Another good engine to find in the junkyard if you get an opportunity is the 351 Windsor. This one's a roller block, 94 to 97. These will also run you a couple $100. They're kind of a PETA to take out of a van if you find them in a van, but they're found in Broncos and F-250s, and they're definitely worth pulling, even if you don't plan on using them yet. As you can see, we got a couple of them here that we still have to tear down, but these will make 408s, 393s, even stock bottom end 357s. Great build to do if you want to step your game up a little bit from the stock 5.0. We're getting to the age where we're finding Coyote motors in the junkyards. We found this one for about $296 at our local pick and pull, 2011 and above. This was actually out of a 2011 truck motor. Takes a little bit more money because you got to do the swap with the K-member and the control pack, but this motor will do just fine as a swap as well. Junkyard horsepower, definitely worth looking into. And I wanted to show you those two engines before we got started over here. 0.0 motor. Now, guys, if you see this in the junkyard, you just need to buy it. If you can get it for $300 or $400 from a junkyard and they'll pull it for you, this is what you want to get. This motor will replace that motor if you don't have one or it's blowed up. So what we're going to actually do today is we got a couple tables sitting here. We got a foxbody table, Explorer table, whatever. And we're going to actually take the parts off of the stock motor, convert the GT40 motor. And let me explain. Let's just say that you have your foxbody Mustang, it's stock. You're looking for a pretty budget or cheap replacement for your foxbody motor. Say you threw a rod or the motor just died. It was tired. It just, we ran it to death. It's just ready to go out. And you just so happen on one of the marketplaces or at a junkyard was able to locate an Explorer or Mountaineer 96 to 01. And you can convert and take all these accessories and all these parts and stick them on this engine. And I'm gonna take you pretty much step by step, but I'm gonna try to be as precise as possible with trying to explain some of the things you're gonna need to do when you're converting one motor to the other. And we're gonna talk about if your motor was still in good shape and you found this motor, how you do it this way as well. Super good information for those folks that may not know and may not on what they need to do to make this motor work. Well, what's the difference between the two motors? Why can't I just stick another motor in? Well, this one makes a little bit more horsepower. The GT40 stuff's been around since the 90s. They were in Lightnings, they were in Cobras, and they were in Explorers. They're usually identified by the markings on the cylinder heads. Markings on the stock head doesn't have the 3 or 4 bars like it does on the Cobra or the GT40. This engine isn't much different than this engine. This one actually has forged pistons in it because this was out of a 91. This one has hyper-eutectic aluminum pistons, and there's really not much difference, except that other Explorer motor has better heads and intake. Being that the Explorer motor has a hyper-eutectic piston set, as the 93 Cobra motor, 94, 95, had roughly the same piston, F1 rod, hyper-eutectic aluminum. But this would be a Lightning motor, would have a 351 larger intake. This is actually out of a 302. So those are the 3 intakes that you see right here. Explorer, Cobra, and Lightning that are considered GT40 style intakes. As far as the GT40 heads are concerned, these are quite a bit better than the actual stock ones. These got 4 bars on them. The earlier model GT40 heads had 3 bars on them, and that's how you can identify them in a junkyard. These are a direct bolt on to here with the outside fact that if you have smog, you won't have a smog tube. And this is a direct bolt on to here, but you have to plug some extra vacuums that are on this intake and you have to use your fuel rails and stuff. Let me get some wrenches out real quick and we're gonna bust this engine down and we're gonna take the Explorer engine apart and I'm gonna show you how easy it is to convert that if you have a bad engine. Okay, we're just moving right along. We're gonna get this whole foxbody motor tore down to the part that we can just start converting parts over to the Explorer one. And then we'll switch over and we will get this one tore apart. This one's a little more extensive. We're gonna make this motor look like that motor. And that's what we're trying to achieve in this video. Just budget junkyard horsepower. We're not gonna do the 351 Windsor or the Coyote right now. Maybe we'll do that another day. But this is the one that's easily accessible, a couple $100. You got a blowed up motor, you got a motor that's not even there, or it's not the correct one, or you're just trying to get a good motor in your car, get to the junkyard, pick you up an Explorer 5.0. Hopefully it runs pretty good. And these are all the parts it's gonna take to convert it. I did want to make mention that we do have some merch for sale over on neomustangs.com. We got the Stick Shift Life stuff that we got recently started making, along with the new shirts with the black car. Pretty cool logo on the back. Got them in sweaters, got them in all different types of colors. Go check it out, support the channel. Appreciate you guys that have. We'll continue on the engine. We'll get everything mocked up and show you guys here before we finish the video up. Sometimes you never know what you'll find in these hard out motors. We're pretty much done with this motor. We're gonna start working on the Explorer one now. I just basically took off all the parts. You don't need to put all those parts back on. You're just trying to get a clean swap in so we can mock fit it and give you guys some idea on what you're looking at. Okay, we're getting pretty much down to the point to where we're gonna do a mock fit with the GT40 engine. I wanted to stop real quick because I wanted to show you one of the things on this engine that we could really do a junkyard setup and it actually be an upgrade for a Mustang. What you have here on these factory Explorer engines is a coil-on plug setup. This is actually a cam sync and this is a crank trigger here. And you can see how this is a 50-ounce balancer just like the regular foxbody one is. So if you wanted to actually switch your foxbody engine to coil-on plug, it's definitely better than TFI as far as like the timing, timing components are concerned. And cam sync can be used to upgrade your ignition. But before we took that off, I wanted to point that out as we're getting to the point where we're about to take the oil pan off and the front of this motor apart, and then we're gonna convert it over to a foxbody motor. Like I said, this is for information for people who have a blown motor that don't really wanna rebuild it. They get a junkyard motor. This is one of the options that you have in making it work again. It's about 50 to 60 more horsepower over your factory one, and has the ability to make some decent power with it, even with a little turbo kit. Okay, we got everything off that we need to outside of the couple sensors here. We're not gonna actually take these off, but there's like an actual oil tube and there's another ECT sensor, but you'd be changing that. So we're just gonna go ahead and mock fit everything and start putting it all back together. And this will be our GT40 conversion. We might as well just go ahead and start on the bottom. One of the things you have to replace with a GT40 Explorer motor is the oil pan and the pickup tube. So we're gonna go ahead and install that. Again, we're just doing the mock fit just to show you guys what we're doing. This is what I was talking about earlier with these, like all these vacuums that go on. You can actually plug some of these. We're just mock fitting this stuff. We're going pretty quick. We're not putting all the bolts in. Naturally, you would put the injector harness on first. It's kind of crazy how much these blocks are so interchangeable. So if you are going to convert an Explorer block over to a foxbody style, you're going to need this little adapter, as these motors come, as this is the relocation, oil filter relocation. These are kind of a pain in the ass to take out. Take a big Allen, and they're not real difficult. They're not stuck in there, but don't put anything on these threads, guys. Okay, so this is where you can actually start whether you want to go with like an aftermarket alternator bracket or not. You see, like everything else, right into place where the old Explorer stuff was. You can make the decision whether you want to do like an aftermarket bracket that would just fit on and it would run the alternator that way. So there's definitely some options right there. Like everything literally is just bolting right on. I think we're just gonna go ahead and finish right there. We've gotten to the point to where we could put the alternator on. There's a lot of things. I just put everything together to kind of give you guys an idea of what you're looking at. I use these brackets here. This is the power steering relocation kit. You can bring the power steering up. And I just wanted to mock this up. But it's simple bolt-on stuff, guys. It's, you know, I hope I helped somebody with this. The mid-late 90s Explorer motor to an old foxbody motor. Probably picked up 50 or 60 horsepower because the heads are better and the intake is better. The stock bottom end part of this motor isn't much different than that one over there. It's a pretty bolt-on process. So we didn't have to take the lower intake off, we didn't take the cylinder heads off, and we left the short block together. We just basically bolted on all the foxbody accessories that you're gonna need, or you could put a carburetor in this place. It's kind of the same scenario. I hope I helped you guys in this video. Everything will just cross over and bolt on, and you won't have to rebuild the other 302. You can just go buy one in the junkyard and pick up, you know, 50 or 60 horsepower, especially if you're coming from a stock motor to a GT40 style. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know it's probably kind of boring, but it's definitely something that I like to do. I like to go back to budget once in a while. We like to break down the old GT40 stuff. And I had both motors here. I felt, you know what, this would make for a pretty good video. One of the issues with GT40 P heads is the angle of the plug. But one way you can get by with it is running 90-degree boots. But you can see a 90 boot will fit right on there, no problem. See that? And it'll be away from the header long enough, you know, especially in number 6, number 5. You know, check it out. Now, if you put the other spark plug boot on there, it'll be hanging out here and get burned. So if you haven't subscribed already, consider subscribing to the channel. Check out that join button below, become a member of the channel, get exclusive content to the channel. Outside of that, I appreciate everybody for watching. We got the white car, we got to get back on the road. We'll see you guys soon in the next video.